and thank you for joining us today on The Blue Flags. I'm the broadcaster, and this is my first episode of this podcast. It's going to be centered around talking about, motorsports, specifically Indycar. And this first episode, I decided to talk about something a little interesting, something that is a very hot topic, and you ready? It's why Indycar is better than NASCAR. Alright, here's one of the big things, alright? This is something that is commonly one of, the really common points that's talked about with, IndyCar fans saying why IndyCar is better, but let's just say the speed. Alright, so IndyCar on an oval versus NASCAR on an oval. So, IndyCar, you got speeds of 230 plus miles an hour, which allows for a lot more side-by-side competition, a lot more passes and stuff like that. I mean, if you saw the Fontana 2015 race this year, any person, whether you're an IndyCar fan or not, that is action-packed. That race was obviously one of the most action-packed races of the entire season, and of all of IndyCar in the recent years. There was side-by-side racing, we were going 3 wide, 4 wide on the restarts, and I mean, NASCAR, just given the speed, you just can't have that type of stuff. There's a lot less, the speed of NASCAR does not allow for a lot of competitive racing, side-by-side racing, like we saw at Fontana 2015. The second primary reason that NASCAR is worse than IndyCar is the safety of NASCAR. So, let's talk about the 2007 Indy 500. So, in the final laps of that race at least, Marco Andretti was closing in on Dan Weldon, and when he was attempting to overtake him, Marco collided into him, flipped over, was flying across the track upside down at 200 plus miles an hour. The car landed, flipped back over right side up again, and he was fine, completely unscathed. Whereas in NASCAR, let's take the 2001 Daytona 500. So, in the final lap, you had Dale Earnhardt Jr. come together with another car. Dale just slid and tapped the wall slightly, and unfortunately, that killed him. So, that really shows how IndyCar, so a guy flipping over and going across the track at 200 miles an hour, then flipping back over and is completely unscathed, that shows how safe IndyCar is. NASCAR, a guy taps the wall barely, and that kills him. Yes, it was head-on, but if that was IndyCar, he would have been completely unscathed. That is one of the big issues with NASCAR, and that is why IndyCar is better. So, we're gonna be going to the phones right now, and, we right now have a call from, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's Billy Joe Bobbinson. Billy, how are you?
Son, I got a saying where we come from. NASCAR's the best sport ever conceived by man, and right after American football. So how dare you attack the greatest sport on earth?
It's not the greatest sport on earth. I hate to break...
Son, I know what I'm talking about. I'm 65 years old and I'm still a virgin. I think I know what I'm saying, boy.
I think there's a reason why you're a virgin.
Sir, how dare you attack my race? I am white, and I know what I'm talking about, boy.
I don't think your race has anything to do with this discussion. This is about NASCAR, not political issues.
No, it's not, boy. NASCAR's all about political issues.
Alright. Well, what's one of the reasons you think why NASCAR is better than Indy?
Because God made that sport.
Okay, then.
Cars are American-made. They aren't from some Euro bullshit.
IndyCar is American, even though there are foreign drivers. I thought I'd just point that out.
Exactly. I don't want no Mexicans at the wheel.
There aren't any there are South Americans, but not Mexicans in IndyCar.
Damn illegal drug dealers, I don't want none of those in my sport.
Okay, and that's enough of Billy Joe. Thank you, Billy. So yeah, those are some of the main reasons why, oh, actually, one more reason. So, the average IndyCar fan, it was discovered, has actually received a bachelor's degree and has also made over $120,000 a year. So that proves that IndyCar fans are actually successful, other than NASCAR fans like the guy who just called in. Well, I think we're gonna cut it off right there today. So yeah, thanks for being with us for the Blue Flags. I'm the broadcaster, signing off.